There's this huge technological race happening right now, but it's almost completely invisible. It's a super high-stakes competition to protect our entire digital world from a threat that could, well, pretty much change everything. So what exactly is on the line here?
I want you to imagine something for a second. What if there was one key, a single key, that could unlock every digital secret out there? That's the kind of power a large-scale quantum computer is promising, and it's a genuine existential threat to our entire online world.
And look, we're not just talking about your social media here. We're talking about the very encryption that guards global finance, government communications, all our healthcare records, critical infrastructure. All of it could become totally useless, practically overnight. The stakes really could not be any higher. Okay, so you've got this massive quantum threat looming on the horizon. The world's top security experts, they saw this coming. They realized they needed a whole new game plan, and honestly, they needed it years ago. The countdown to a quantum-proof world has already begun. So let me introduce you to the hero of our story, post-quantum cryptography, or PQC for short. And this isn't just, a small software patch. It's a whole new family of mathematical problems, a whole new set of algorithms built from the ground up specifically to stand strong against the incredible power of future quantum computers. But how in the world do you pick the right digital defenders for the entire planet? Well, how do you do it? You hold a competition, a huge, global, multi-year cryptographic bake-off to find the absolute strongest and most efficient algorithms we can come up with. And the organization running this whole thing is the U.S. National Institute of Standards and Technology, which you'll hear called NIST. Their process is really considered the gold standard. A huge chunk of the international crypto community is basically counting on their results to guide us through this massive, massive change. And let me tell you, this process has been a marathon, not a sprint. Just think about it. They kicked this off way back in 2017 with 69 different ideas. And then, over years of intense public testing and scrutiny by experts all over the globe, they just kept whittling it down, testing and breaking things, until bam, in 2024, the first official standards were finally published. So who made the cut? Who are these first champions? Well, they pretty much fall into two main categories. First up, you've got ML-Key. Its job is what we call key encapsulation. The easiest way to think about it is creating a secure, secret tunnel so two people can talk privately. Then you've got the others, like MLDSA, and their job is digital signatures. That's all about proving you are who you say you are, kind of like a digital passport. You absolutely need both. But here's the thing. The race isn't over. Not by a long shot. I mean, think about it. You'd never bet the entire world's security on just one kind of lock, right? Of course not. That's why NIST is already running more competitions. They're looking for new algorithms based on totally different math problems, all to build a more diverse and tough-as-nails toolkit for the future. But, okay, having these shiny new standards is one thing. Getting the whole world to actually use them, that's the real mountain to climb. And that's where governments are starting to step in, turning these new standards into actual legal requirements. And what we're seeing is this clear two-pronged approach. For government and national security systems, the rules are becoming very direct. Laws are being passed with hard deadlines to make the switch. For the private sector, though, it's a bit more subtle. Regulations, like Europe's GDPR, they require state-of-the-art security. And pretty soon, state-of-the-art is absolutely going to mean quantum-proof. And if you want to know just how serious this is, just take a look at the timeline from the U.S. National Security Agency. Their CNSA 2.0 plan makes it crystal clear that for certain critical systems, this transition isn't just a suggestion, it has to be done by 2030, with other systems following by 2033. The clock is officially ticking. All right, so theory is great, but what happens when all this new crypto stuff actually hits the real world? Well, some of the biggest tech companies on the planet have been the guinea pigs, and boy, have they learned some tough lessons. So what was the single biggest surprise? The one thing that companies like Google, Meta, and Cloudflare all ran into? It's this. The new quantum-proof math just creates security keys and signatures that are much, much bigger. And that seemingly simple size difference, it's causing all sorts of chaos. Okay, let me walk you through why this is such a big deal. When your browser wants to make a secure connection to a website, it sends this little handshake message. But with PQC, that message is suddenly so big it doesn't fit into a standard network packet anymore, so it has to be broken up.
The problem is, tons of systems out there on the internet were never built for that, and they just drop the connection. It doesn't just slow down, it fails completely.
And it wasn't just one kind of problem. That's the crazy part. You had Google and Cloudflare seeing connections just fail outright. Then Google's engineers found weird slowdowns, not from the complex math, but from the simple act of the computer trying to find enough memory for these huge keys. Meta ran into software bugs and had to temporarily fall back to weaker security just to keep things from crashing. The big lesson here is that even for the biggest, smartest tech companies in the world, this transition is absolutely full of hidden traps. So, after all the competitions, all the new standards, all the real-world headaches, where does that leave all of us? What's the path forward to actually secure all of our data?
Let's be absolutely clear about something. This migration, it's one of the most massive, most complex internet infrastructure upgrades anyone has ever tried to pull off. Ever. We're talking about changing the fundamental locks and keys for the entire internet. And it all has to happen behind the scenes, without breaking everything we rely on.
And it's not all happening at once either. The migration is really moving on two different tracks. The easier part is confidentiality. That's just keeping our data secret. We're already seeing clever hybrid solutions for that. The much harder part is authentication, proving you are who you say you are. That's because the new digital signatures are often big and slow to verify, which creates some serious performance headaches for the web as we know it. So here we are, a new quantum-resistant foundation for our entire digital lives is being built piece by painful piece. The algorithms are here, the deadlines are being set, and the pioneers are mapping out the minefield for the rest of us. Which leaves us with the one big question, the question that's been hanging over this whole race from the very beginning. Will we be ready in time?